Hello everyone, welcome back to another reaction video. Thank you all to the new subscribers. Thank you all for showing your support by liking the videos, commenting, and sharing the videos as well. If you are new to the channel and you are enjoying the content, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed. OneLove now has memberships available. As of right now, there are 2 tiers you can sign up for. The first tier is called the OneLove Fan. The perks that you will receive are loyalty badges that set you apart from the rest in the comments. You will also be able to use custom emojis as well as priority replies to comments. The second tier is called the Lovely Crew. The perks that you will receive here are the loyalty badges, custom emojis, priority reply to comments, member shoutouts, and early access to new videos. More perks will be added down the road. If you are interested in joining the membership, please feel free to hit the join button. So I would like to take the time out to thank all of you who are joining the memberships. Again, it is 2 tiers you can join under right now. The first tier is the OneLove Fam. The second tier is Lovely Crew. And if you join under the Lovely Crew, you will get a member shout out. And so I want to thank these 2 members, Miss Yellow Hawk 5 and also Kim, for joining the Lovely Crew. Now, to those of you who are joining the membership, keep in mind this is kind of what we're doing starting out, but as I get further along, I am going to be incorporating different perks, different benefits as people start to join. So I do want to make sure I'm taking the time out to let you guys know how custom emojis work. It doesn't matter which membership you join, you will get the perks of using the custom emojis in the comment section. And I have 4 right now. One is called Real Talk, the other is called Clock It, the other is called We Ready, and the other one is called Wow. So there is a emoji that I created for each one of those that I just named out. And all you have to do when you are typing your comment in the comment section, you first want to type colon, which is the 2 dots, and then you want to type behind that either Real Talk, Clock It, We Ready, Wow. So if you hear something that I'm saying or we're reacting to something that's like, oh my gosh, are you for real? Then you will type in colon and then wow, and you will see a custom emoji pop up. So those are the 4 that you have access to. And as I get further along, I will be creating more custom emojis. But I thought this would be something fun that we could use in the comment section as we're listening to the commentary. So the podcast that you all are about to listen to was actually recorded around 2 weeks ago. This was around the time when everything was starting to come out with Olivia's story of being homeless. We were just starting to see videos circulate from her where she started telling people what had transpired, and that was when all of this just kind of exploded. Now, although we have come to the end of this storyline that Olivia created about being homeless, we've come to the end of it. We all understand, and most of us definitely see it for what it is, that this was a lie. This was another tactic that Olivia used to manipulate her audience and to just manipulate people as a whole. She manipulated people on TikTok as well as YouTube. So a lot of her lies have been exposed, but I still wanted you guys to hear this conversation because there was a lot of interesting things that we spoke about here that I think y'all would appreciate. So I'm going to come in throughout this video so I can give more clarification on some things. But for the most part, I think you guys will enjoy this podcast. So let's get into it.
I know you've kind of been in and out, Denise, because I know it's a lot to take in with watching Liv's life. It's a lot for me. That's why I've been taking more breaks compared to how it was before. I was really going in the beginning, but you definitely do have to take breaks because it is a lot to take in with her. I think in a lot of ways she intentionally does triggering things because I feel that is the thing to do if you're trying to be trending on social media, is to kind of put yourself out there in a way that's showing triggering stuff or saying triggering things. But to be honest, I can't even solely blame it on that. I think we're just really seeing who Olivia is, and that within itself is triggering to a lot of people. So now she's doing videos of saying that she's homeless. I know we was having a conversation yesterday, and you was sharing with me some things that you kind of picked up on, and I wanted you to kind of share what was it that kind of made you start suspecting that something was really going on with Olivia, that she was, I guess, trying to hide from YouTube?
A lot of it honestly just really didn't make sense to me. And I'll go back and start with her unpacking video. And again, this is just alleged. She seemed to look like she had picked up on drug use. And again, I don't know Liv or anything, but this is just kind of what it looked like to me. So I started to really wonder what happened with her in Texas. What truly transpired between her and Gerard and Nisha? Because what made her run so quickly, like, in my opinion, it was like a split second decision to where she just left everything where it was, like she said, broke her lease, and just ran off to Florida. And especially when you have children, it's one thing to be single and do something like that. But when you have children, people don't just normally pick up, leave, break their lease, leave all of their belongings, and then move all the way to Florida. So again, that made me think that something transpired that she didn't talk about. So when she was there, I also found it funny that you're not living with your sister. You're living with a roommate, and then secondly, you have whatever sort of problem with this roommate, whatever happened, and you're in a car. And you have a sister there, not to mention you have a mother. Now, she was there having people to cash app her. Okay, your mother's in another state. She couldn't cash app you some money to go get a room. Your sister couldn't open the door for you and your children. Even if her sister didn't open the door for her, she didn't open it for her children. So honestly, I'm kind of going along with everybody else. I kind of wondered, was it real? And I'm so sad to say that, because again, I'm not trying to, just, stain her name or whatever, or her character, but it didn't make a lot of sense to me that she would be there asking for a cash app. So even with that, I started to wonder, did she even have other motives for that? Because, and I hate to say this, but I just have to speak my truth. Her tears, I was like, okay, are these real tears for being kicked out, or are these manipulative tears just to get people to send you money? I was confused.
So I want y'all to keep in mind that this was what we was thinking early on, as this storyline had just been created by Olivia. These were Denise's thoughts. These are my thoughts. So as you can see right out the gate, Denise is suspecting that, number one, there seems to be some type of alleged drug use. Number two, she felt like this was fake. This storyline was fake, because there was a lot of things that just wasn't adding up. As far as, where's your sister? Where's your mother? Even to the point of Denise suspecting that even her tears didn't seem genuine. So there was a lot of things that, me and my friend were talking about behind the scenes, but I couldn't at first just really just say exactly what I was thinking as I was doing my commentary early on, because I was still watching things play out. But this is just to let y'all see, this is what our thoughts were. This is how we really was feeling, and these are the things that we were seeing early on.
We've had a lot of conversations in regards to Olivia, and some things, especially when it comes to the drug use, the alleged drug use, you've seen it for a while. And one of the things that I will always tell you is that I'm not that experienced to know what it looks like, because I really just wasn't around it like that to really know the signs. But I told you yesterday, and I never said anything in any of my videos, but I told you yesterday, I don't know what it was, but when I was watching the first live she did when she said she was homeless, I had so many questions when I was doing that commentary for that live. I had so many questions because there was so many things that was not making sense to me. And I kid you not, what jumped out at me while I was watching that live, I felt like the reason that she provided as to, now this is before she came on the following day to tell the viewers what actually transpired as to how she ended up being kicked out of the apartment. But before I saw that video, what jumped out at me was I felt it had to, I'm thinking something drug related was going on as the reason why her roommate like kicked her out the way that she did. Now, Olivia came on the following day and said that the reason why she was kicked out is because people were harassing the roommate. They had found where she lived. They leaked her address. They leaked who the woman was. They showed her children. They showed her ex-husband. And I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that what people were saying was there was some type of situation between her and her ex-husband to where she did not want him to know where she lived. And so that was what Olivia said was the reason why she was told that she had to leave. She has further said that her and the girl is still cool. She doesn't hold it against her for telling her she had to leave. She understood. They're okay. But I still can't shake that feeling because, again, that wasn't something that I ever felt before. These were conversations that you would have with me where you would tell me this is what you're suspecting. But when I was watching that live, I was like, this is not making sense. Like, you literally just moved in with this girl 2 weeks ago, and now you're being kicked out. And then my other question was, you just got paid from YouTube 2 weeks ago. Where did all the money go? Where did all the money go to where you didn't have enough money to get a hotel? You're depending on people to cash app you money. So if I'm suspecting, and you know, I'm sure people who are listening, they're probably shocked that I'm even saying this because I never was completely transparent in my thought process with all of this. But something in me felt like something was off, and it was a possibility it had to do with drugs. What are you thinking?
So I want y'all to keep in mind that the video that I'm speaking about is when she came on after, remember she first came on, it was nighttime, she was crying in the car, she was talking about how she actually did, you know, lose everything. She had broke her lease, and she was talking about the pictures and stuff that she lost, right? Well, the very next day, she came on live and she talked about what had happened that caused her roommate to kick her and her children out. And this was what led to her saying that she was homeless. So it was during that video when I was editing it, I felt for the very first time something did not sound right to me. And I just picked up in my spirit that something was going on to where it had to do with drugs. And I'm going to say allegedly. But that was what I suspected. And so this whole time, I did not see that. I didn't know what to look for because I'm not, you know, privy to knowing the signs or how to know, you know, when somebody's on it or not or what have you. But my friend Denise has been around it. She knows the signs. She's seen certain behaviors in Olivia that made her feel that way. And so for the very first time, this was me having this feeling like, okay, it's very possible that this is what's going on. And you can also hear me still not being sure if, you know, Olivia actually was kicked out, you know, with her roommate, because at this time when we did this recording, everything was still fresh. But of course, now that we have all the pieces, I'm very clear that Olivia never was kicked out of the roommate's apartment. This was just part of the storyline.
I mean, I think we try to be so careful, right? Because the last thing that you want to do is say things that aren't true. But, I think I've been seeing it for a while. I'm sure other people have noticed it for a while. It didn't make sense to me, honestly, that the roommate that she was living with just put her out abruptly, because that's not the way that things work, especially after you've paid your rent, right? You can always call the cops and say, look, I've paid my rent and this person's trying to put me out. This person has kids. It doesn't make sense to me that she's just going to put you and your children out overnight just because her address or whatever was exposed. It just did not add up. I have to ask you a question. In that video with Liv in the car asking for money, did you hear her children in the car?
I did not.
I did. I'm like, where are your children?
She said they were asleep.
That
I was listening very closely. I didn't hear breathing. I didn't hear movement. Like I didn't. She kept looking back, and she did make it a point to say that she did not want to show her kids because she didn't want people taking screenshots and blasting it over the internet. That was her defense, but I didn't see her children, no.
Her children are never quiet the duration of a video like that. And honestly, as she was in the midst of her tears, I was like, I don't remember hearing her children at all. And that really made me really think like something is really off about this situation. She is displaying desperation. Because, she came on like, now let's be clear here. Liv, she does display a lot of her life. But when it comes to her, like you said, and you placed in your video how she was saying she was God's favorite and he always comes through for her and all these other things, calling everybody broke. And then to just turn around in a bout of desperation and just say that you're homeless and you need this. Again, I was like, oh my God, this is sheer desperation. But I really honestly did not feel that she was being honest. I just didn't. And I could be so wrong, but I felt like this was a ploy to get money for whatever means.
I mean, even when she admitted to the fact that she broke her lease. Now, this whole time she was on camera, trying to stunt like, yeah, I'm doing big things. I still got my place in Texas and, I got a place here in Florida. But then she finally admits to the fact that she broke her lease. But my thing is, she was crying about the fact that she lost all her photos. So if you broke your lease, that means you knew you was going to break your lease, which means you had a heads up to grab whatever items you wanted to take with you, knowing that you was about to move to Florida. Why would you not take the important things if you knew you wasn't going to be able to retrieve it?
Yeah, it's almost like if she fled from Texas. There's a difference between moving and fleeing. True. So again, I just can't find any time that you're moving, and you can tell by the way she talked about those photos that they were really precious to her. So I just can't understand, like, if you know that you're going to move, you're going to take the most precious things to you. So for her to leave that, none of it is adding up to me.
But even in that, let's go with the narrative that she fled. If you knew you only had a short amount of time to hurry up and get out of there, why wouldn't you be able to grab that? Because it's almost like if it was to the degree like she had just a matter of seconds to hurry up and get, but there are some similar things that she was able to salvage. Like she was able to still take with her to Florida. Like she had her wigs. She didn't leave that behind. So was your wigs more important than your photos? Like I'm so
apparently so.
I mean,
I don't. It doesn't make sense because we have all moved. And when you are moving your home, that's a process that starts well before you actually move. So I think that's something that's well thought out. Like, I have to take this, what's more important to me. So again, for her to break the lease, leave so quickly that you left most of your things, even things that are important, it makes me question her state of mind. What state of mind were you in when you moved? Was there fear? Or were you running from something? I question it.
It definitely happened very closely after all of that came out. And she said that she was going, allegedly, Gerard was going to have her arrested. That was kind of what she put out there because he was mad that she leaked all that information.
Mm-hmm.
And so she came on live basically saying that, this is something that he had threatened her with. Mm-hmm. Now, if you have that hanging over your head where there's a possibility you're going to get locked up, mm-hmm. so you got the fear of being locked up, you got the fear of your children, where they going to go?
Yeah.
I feel that with Olivia's state of mind, she's very fragile, mm-hmm. and it's very possible that maybe paranoia did set in. And on top of the fact that she was talking mad stuff, like coming towards Nisha and her family. Mm-hmm. So maybe I don't know, maybe somebody was really going to pull up on her. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to agree with that sentiment, like 100%, because again, the move and the way that she did the move wasn't rational. It just wasn't rational. And, to be honest with you, now I know Liv was losing weight, all that. I commended her for it. She did a great job with that. When she moved down to Florida, it seemed like she was dwindling away, or I'm not sure if that's the right word to use or not, but and it wasn't just a matter of her weight either. It was her continence. Something was just different. It seemed like she just went harder on whatever substance or whatever that she may have been doing. So again, and she seemed honestly to the places that she was even filming at was sort of like, okay, where is she at? It seemed like you're at the beach one day, you're here one day. So again, the whole move really made me question what was going on. And if she ever went to her sister's house to stay, it just seems like she just moved around ever since she's been out there. Like she didn't even have a stable place to stay. Like she didn't have a plan, and she definitely didn't have the finances to be there. So again, when you have children and you're making a move that irrational, again, it just makes me wonder what her state of mind was. So, and I'm sorry to say, but I just didn't believe a lot of what she's been saying since she's been down there.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I know some people may get frustrated with how I react to her, because I'm not just completely dragging this girl to filth. But you know me, I'm just the type of person where I really try to see things for myself. I can't just solely go off of what the main narrative is or what the majority feels and believes. I've never been wired that way.
I think the thing is you do very well at picking out, when she's fabricating the truth versus telling the truth versus lying. I think you do a very good job at that. Now, I have to say, I don't watch her a lot. Most of the time when I see of Liv comes from your videos. So again, you just have to take what I say with a little, because I don't watch her as much. So I'm more inclined to go with your opinion than mine. But this is, again, it's just my opinion.
No, I mean, I get it. But I feel even though you don't watch her as much, you still have a sense of picking out things that really do make sense. Mm-hmm. And that's just how it is with us. Like, we bounce things off of each other so easily, and we complement each other in so many ways. And so there are a lot of conversations we've had about this situation where you've kind of presented your thought process on it. And I'm like, you know what? I ain't even look at it like that. That actually makes sense. And there are many times where we're talking about something and we have the exact same conclusion on it, So I think that, when it comes to Olivia, it's so many different layers to her. And it's such a complexity with her that it makes it difficult for people to really pull out, even if it's just one little instance where she may be telling the truth, because she lies so much. And I have said this so many times, this girl does lie. She lies a lot. Mm-hmm. And I will never disagree with anybody if they have that same viewpoint. I agree with y'all. Mm-hmm. It's just that I'm in a position where I think it's more easier for me to be unbiased because a lot of viewers that are following this situation, they've been watching Olivia longer than me.
A long time. So there are things that they are pointing out to me, and it's like, I'm not disregarding what y'all are saying, but I just have to come to that conclusion if that is what it really is. And more than not, I have definitely been coming to the same conclusion of the majority of the viewers. So that's a great thing, right? But
I think some people may get impatient with me because I'm taking my time in getting to the truth of the matter. And again, I'm just wired to not just solely go off of what somebody say. I'm going to take what you say and I'm going to put it on the shelf and I'm going to look at it from time to time. And if I finally get to that place where I'm like, you know what, this actually did make sense. Let me pick it up and apply it to where I'm at now in my assessment, and I can continue to move forward. So I think when you look at this whole situation, one of the things that I have really been trying to hone into is the fact that Olivia has really been making a strong effort to hide behind this whole relationship that she has with God, to make it seem as if what we view as her karma is actually, well, God is still with me. Mm-hmm. God is still, protecting me. God is still blessing me. And she intentionally tries to hide behind her karma because she doesn't want to admit that she's in the situation she's in because of all of the evil and the just the hateful things she has done. Yeah. It's like she's really trying to hide behind it. What are your feelings on that?
I mean, I think, she doesn't want to admit to herself. And, she does a lot of projecting because she wants us to see and believe whatever she says. But I think a lot of it is just her just refusing to be accountable to herself. Like, at some point in our life, we have to tell ourselves the truth, that we are our worst enemy. When there is no Jazz and there's no Gerard and Nisha and all these people who she just puts to the forefront, the only factor remaining is her. The common denominator, it is her. And I think, again, for her, she just does herself such an injustice because she refuses to look within and see that all of these things that has gone on in her life, she is the one. Yet you are the one that has done this. Even when it comes down to the children's fathers, like, you picked them. So, like, why are you still calling out Zolo and his wife and all? Like, you knew what he was when you laid down with him out of revenge to Gerard because he left. You knew. So, like, I don't understand why she's still calling that out. Same thing with Gerard. He may have done wrong in the marriage, but you knew what he was. That was your choice. It was your choice not to show up in court the way that you should have and the way that you could have to keep your children. In this situation, it was your choice to abruptly move and flee from Texas with nowhere to basically go. I don't understand. Sometimes, like, she just needs to shut off the internet, number one, and deal with her life. Because, again, you're the one that got yourself in this situation. So now here you are on the internet asking people for money, and then you have her following. They're enabling her by giving her money. And again, for me, this is different for me to say because I am such a girl's girl. And, I'm like, oh yeah, people should be there for you. But all of this karma came around right after Jazz was exonerated from the lies that she told. And, she made this video basically saying that she dropped the case against Jazz and then Jazz had to come clean it up. And all of this is happening like a domino effect after you tried to get this woman locked up in front of her children, lying on this woman. So again, at some point, it's not going to do her any good to keep looking outward and blaming people when she is the one that is responsible for her downfall.
Yeah. And of course, even when it comes to the downfall, it's like, her way of deflecting that is, well, y'all are wishing on my downfall. So when the downfall comes, she has the people to blame for it because y'all hate me so much. Y'all wish this on me. And it's like any situation that she's in where she can make herself to be the victim, that's the route she's going to always take. And I think it's sad because, when you look at, because you brought up when she first moved to Florida and her filming was kind of weird. I do believe when she first went to Florida, she was staying with Raquel. Mm-hmm. Raquel, she's never really been about, you just walking through her house and acting the way she does normally. She would not have been able to do that in Raquel's house. That's why she painted this persona that she was a changed woman and she was all about God and, you know, wanting to, you know, do right. And even how she spoke, it was more soft and more, it was a persona because at that particular time, she was living in her sister's house. Now, she made it a point to say that she wanted to move in with a roommate because she couldn't do what she wanted to do, meaning she couldn't get on the internet and act the way she is. Like she couldn't be herself, basically. I feel that when you look at this whole dynamic with Olivia, Raquel, and her mother, Olivia has for years tried to convince the internet that her family don't play with her. They don't play when it comes to her. They got her back. Her family, they're solid. You know, anything she needs, they're there. Mm-hmm. But something is really off when you look at this situation. Somebody pointed out, and I didn't really know to even acknowledge it because when I watch Liv's lives to comb through it to do my commentary, I'm not watching the chat. I'm just taking the video and just going, you know, that way with it. But there are people who have been aware of her chats, and here lately, she has her mother hasn't been in her chats. And usually her mother is in there, you know, cheering her on, you know, like just really just kind of, you know, supporting just everything that Olivia does, which is weird to me, you know, because it's like you see this woman all the time dragging people for no reason, crashing out the way she is with her kids. You're seeing that and you're not saying nothing. But the fact that now she's quote unquote homeless, where are you? Why are you not in the chats? So I'm questioning what is really the relationship. Because for Olivia to go as hard as she has been, trying to paint this picture that she has this solid family and they're always there for her, it doesn't seem that's the truth.
Yeah. I mean, I you know, just from what I kind of see, just looking at their video, some of their old video dynamics, and just living life and experiencing and seeing people like live in family member situations, she really seems like the child that you ended up raising your whole life. And I don't mean disrespect by that at all. She just could never seem to get it together. And so, I mean, let's be real here. Like, her mom stayed with her for years away from her own husband. And I know she did it out of love to help her children. Her mom was there. So to see her mom leave and go back, I feel like she's at that age of retirement where she was tired. And she was literally looking at her daughter like, you have to grow up at some point. And I can't raise your children. And so for her mom to go back home, and I don't know what transpired between them, if anything, her mom, I think she's tired. She's tired of having to always clean up Liv's mess, having to raise her children. She's at an age where she just maybe can't do that anymore. So I think, yeah, to see Liv in this situation, they're probably finally at that point to where they're like, no, you're going to have to deal with your life. We're not going to clean this up anymore.
I mean, it makes sense because even when Jasmine shared some of the stuff that she knew when it came to Olivia's stepfather, he was very adamant in not wanting to assist her financially anymore either. And the fact that Gerard said that her stepfather called Olivia a deviant, I'm just like, wow. That's not just a word that people just use every day in their vocabulary. Like that was intentional. So
we've seen it over the years to be true.
That's true. And it says a lot for your own stepfather to call you out on that. But it's really looking like Olivia really has burnt pretty much every bridge. And I think whatever transpired here recently, yes, it's possible that Raquel still has sympathy in the sense when it comes to her children. But when it comes to Olivia, it's starting to look like Raquel is washing her hands of her too.
I mean, this is bigger than love. You know, I don't doubt for one moment that her mother and her sister love her deeply. But when it comes to you coming in my peaceful house with my husband and my children, and you're throwing off the peace in our house and how we function, I probably can't trust you because I don't know what you're doing in that room, or I can't change my schedule to pick up your slack with your children. I think there's a lot of reasons why she may not be able to go back there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the thing about it is with Liv, sometimes with people like her, because I've experienced this, I've seen it in so many different family dynamics, is you just have to let them go because they're not going to grow up if you keep picking up the slack, paying bills, watching the children. And with her, she really comes off to not have surpassed her teenage years when it comes down to her mental. I'm the hottest chick on the block, or if I get skinny, the men are going to come to, bring this milkshake to the yard and all. I'm just like, do you realize how old you are? Because now let's talk about it. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the mom, Grip Baby, who's all famous on TikTok. That woman, she does substances, but she has a home for her kids. Even if she gets kicked out, she has another home. All of these mothers, Resilient Jenkins has a hotel room for her children. Wow. Okay, she's cleaning her walls and she's making meals in that hotel room, but she is consistent with providing for those kids. What I'm saying is to say, when is Liv going to grow up and realize that you are the caretaker? You're the financial provider. Stop looking for a man or a quick fix or quick money to take care of your children. Everybody else is bearing the brunt of raising children as hard as it is. Some of them single mothers. She has to really stand in the fact that she is the provider, the protector, and everything for her children. And she has to stand up to it.
I mean, it definitely says a lot when Stephanie is doing way better than Olivia at this point.
And I'm not even saying that to be funny, but I'm like, have you accepted the fact that you are it for your children? Yeah. She talks about all those girls on YouTube, Jazz and everybody, but they are taking care of their children.
Right.
They're consistent.
I tell you, in that dream, when I saw her children being removed from her, she didn't look like Olivia. What I mean is, it looked like it was her, but mentally it was like she was so disconnected. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like something was going on with her that made it to where she could no longer function as the Olivia that we have been accustomed to. And when the kids were removed, it was almost like it was so nonchalant. She wasn't crying for them. She wasn't pleading for the people not to take her kids. It was almost like, oh, okay. And I was just looking like I'm being shown this. And I'm just looking at her demeanor. I'm looking at how she was so nonchalant, so unattached. It felt like, oh, well, that's one less thing I have to worry about. That was the vibe I got from it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of known for a while that she wasn't fit. And when I say that, again, nothing that is coming out my mouth about her right now is meant to be in a mocking kind of way, because how we talk in private, and I've always felt sorry for her. I think people need to start recognizing the difference. Just because you may hear us give her grace or the benefit of the doubt does not mean that we excused any of the evil that she's done, or that we think she's not lying about things. I just look at her as a soul, just like I would anybody else, and just living life. I try to give people the grace that I require, that I need from God. But I could see it getting to that point, because growing up from where I've grown up, I know what drug use looks like. And again, just to see her, she seemed to really progress. And just from looking at her in certain videos, and her drug use is a lot faster than what she was doing before in Texas. And I don't know, and again, I know Florida may be her stumping ground because she's been there before, so she knows where to go down there. So it's kind of making me think that she is hanging around men. There may be people that are providing drugs for her, where she's able to be a lot, deeper in her usage. So again, just to see the dream that you had, it makes sense to me. When it comes down to her children, even when she was in Texas, or, maybe even prior to that, she really seems bothered by her children. Yeah. She seems like she couldn't deal with them then. So to see her in a situation where she is now, to where she can't even take care of herself, I can imagine it would be very hard for her to take care of her children, especially from a car.
Yeah. You said that because I know you're born and raised in California. You know a lot about LA because you grew up in that area as well. You said that Florida is kind of like a LA. Can you explain that?
Yeah, when I say that, I mean, when it comes down to the weather, even the palm trees, like everything, the beaches, Florida and California have so much in common, so much to where even when I moved from California, we really considered Florida heavily, but I decided against it at the last minute. But we were looking at it because it was so much like where we come from in California. Now, when it comes down to can you even say drug or that game, it is the same on both coasts as well. So again, when she moved back down there, I just felt like maybe that was familiar stumping grounds for her, and she knew exactly where to go to get what. And I just don't put it past there being some sort of male involved in all of this as well.
There was a live that Olivia did. She had only been in Florida for maybe 3 weeks to a month, and she had already hooked up with a guy.
Yeah. So, well, that's kind of what I mean is that not so much, well, of course I did say that she could have been living with a guy, but what I'm meaning is that there had to be, it seemed to be a guy somewhere in the picture, because that's kind of like how she moves wherever she is. There's a guy somewhere near.
Got it. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts as we are watching all this unfold? Because it definitely seems like she has definitely been, making sure to put homeless in all her titles. I think she got a fix of the cash apps that's coming in. So I think she's going to milk it until she can't milk it no more. People have been suspecting that CPS may end up getting involved again. I know people were kind of throwing that out in her chats. And she was very bothered by it to the point where it was, you can tell she's afraid of that happening. She even said she did research, and CPS can't take your children if you are, even if you're in a motel, if you're trying to provide a roof over their head, whether it's in a motel setting or not, as long as she's not literally sleeping in her car with her kids, CPS can't take her children. But I do know she's afraid of that happening. Yeah. I completely agree with you. And I do appreciate you making the point to say earlier in this conversation that just because we try to show grace and empathy towards her doesn't mean that we are ignorant. Yeah. It doesn't mean that she's pulling a fast one over me or over us. Like, I see it, but sometimes I refrain from sharing my full opinions on the matter because I'm still gathering data. You know what I mean? I'm still
trying to be saved over here, so just give us the benefit of the doubt.
What was that? I didn't catch that.
I said we're trying to be saved over here, so give us the benefit of the doubt.
That part, like, look, what I be saying, like, I'm still what was that shirt that we saw? It was like it was something like,
I remember the shirt.
Oh my gosh, it's so true to who I am right now. It was something like hood and saved. It was something like that. But look, we all got some hood. Sometimes the hood is hard to get out.
Yes. Like, I mean, we could really read people down if that's what we chose to do. But, like, you have to give people, like, I know that this is the court of public opinion, but we still have to say you're innocent until proven guilty, until we have full proof. So, again, I don't want to think the worst of her because, in my time of watching her, I have given her a lot of grace because I'm like, well, she's a person, she's growing up, she's got a lot to, a lot of maturing to do. But at this moment, after watching so much, what comes to mind for Live for Me is Leandria Johnson's song, Lord Deliver Me, because all I do is hurt me. Oh. That is what comes to my mind when I see Liv. And I think over the time that I've watched her, I've seen her hurt herself and lash out on people because she has made the wrong decisions for herself. Yeah. And again, looking at the situation here where you end up on the internet. And we can't really say much about Gerard in this situation, right? Because he has his kids. He's supporting his kids. He's taking care of his kids. He's not obligated to give her money or do anything for her. And granted, we can't say the same thing about Zolo or whatever, but who else is supposed to be there to help her at this big age? Because how old is she by now?
She's 35.
35 years old. Yeah, like at this time. And, don't even get me started, because most of us have had to like do things on our own from a very young age. So let's be clear here. Like, she has had a village. Her mother was there, her stepfather was there, her sister was there. But at this age that she is now, she has really got to understand that tricking around and doing all these things that she thought had value from her younger age is not working from her. A second thing that she has to realize, that she is aging.
Yeah.
You are aging. And I'm not talking about in years. I'm saying in the way, it's starting to show on you as well. And she has to start thinking like an adult. I don't understand why she is still running around here acting like she is a teenage girl with a BBL and all these other things. Like, it is not making sense to me, because it's got her on the road to nowhere, literally.
I totally agree. And that's why, when she turned 35 in June, she was like, I'm 30. Mm-hmm. She's going to tell everybody she's 30, as if some kind of way 5 years is going to be taken off her face, because you're stressing when you do evil on a regular, it starts to manifest on your face. Mm-hmm. That spirit will start to manifest on your face. I can look at her eyes in some of her picture, and all I see is she's just dead. There's nothing there. I see void. Yeah. And that's scary. It's very scary. And, I've seen a lot of things, in dreams pertaining to that spirit that is on her. And I don't know. I just feel that where Olivia is, she has admitted to it multiple times that she's very hard-headed. Mm-hmm. And I feel because of that, it's going to require her to really lose everything.
Mm-hmm. Including herself.
Mm-hmm. Wow. It's sad. It is sad. This is a sad situation, because we are literally witnessing somebody completely spiral out of control.
Yes. And I see her hurt, and I see her pain, and it's valid, the things that she's been through, whether it's from a child all the way to an adult. Divorces are hard. Co-parenting is hard. There's a lot of pain that she's been through. But, as we grow up, we can't use it as a crutch forever.
Or you cannot use it as a weapon.
Yes, I agree. Like, there is a point in your life as an adult where you have to be able to say, this person hurt me, this injustice was done to me, whatever it was. But in order for me to walk upright and straight and to function correctly as an adult, you have to realize that it is your job now to take that hurt, forgive, and let it go, because that's the only way that you're going to grow as a person. So I think she looks back at people all the time, and she's always rehearsing her hurts on the inside all over the internet. It's like spilling out, but she hasn't understood that she has to take accountability for her own healing. Like, she has to say that I have to let it go.
Yeah, I agree. And I just feel that she doesn't know how. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if her family has tried to point her in the right direction of getting that help. Mm-hmm. And I think if she hasn't been in a situation where she's been surrounded by people that she is familiar with, people that she views as being her family, her closest people to her, if they have never expressed this to her, that makes it worse.
But something, I feel like she hasn't come to the place where she said that I want to let it go. Because we may not have the tools, but when you want to let it go, then that's when it starts coming to you. That's when you will find ways. If she's going to church, do you recall what the woman at church told her? She had to forgive or something?
That's what she said. But it's questionable if she actually went to church.
Already. And even if she knew that advice, even if no one told her that, if she was truly ready, you would seek it.
I agree.
And I know because I've been through that situation, go through that situation. Like when you are really tired, you will seek ways, like you will look for wisdom. I really feel in her situation, she has victimized herself, so much to where she's always looking for somebody to hurt because she feels that they have hurt her. And again, it's like at some point you have to look at yourself and say, like, I'm tired of this. The drugs is not going to take it away. The alcohol is not going to take it away. Calling the police on people, and doing stuff that's just wrong is not going to take it away. It only satiates it for a moment. So again, with her, I feel like she has to get tired of herself. She has to get tired of losing in order to change.
Yeah. I completely agree with that. I think the reality of that statement is, as much as this girl has gone through and you still ain't came to that place, I worry, what all do she have to go through to get there?
But see, that's what makes it worse, in my opinion, because the more hurt and pain, the more drugs, the more alcohol, the more crash outs, or, whatever you want to call it. That gets, worse as you hold on to it. So again, that's the reason why I worry about her, because it's not going to hurt us to make yourself believe that there's nothing wrong. To get on the internet and say you're God's favorite and, you're blessed and nothing's wrong with your situation, that is not hurting us. It's not convincing us. It's hurting you.
Yeah. I agree. It definitely frustrates me. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, that be getting on my nerves. But I understand what you're saying. I feel like, whew, it's just a lot. It's a lot to process because, I do try to be careful what I say. And, I will say this, when I shared that dream about seeing her finally being in a place where she could get therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And that one lady that was making it difficult, it was I don't know who that woman represented, but she was really adamant in trying to provoke Olivia to not get the help she needed.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got so fed up in the dream, and I was like, I can't remember verbatim because I keep a dream journal. I can't remember verbatim what was said, but I just remember I got so frustrated with her interrupting the actual therapist. And I think I just told her, can you please be quiet?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had to be very firm.
Yeah.
And once I said that to her, she left.
Mm-hmm.
And then I walked over, I sat next to Olivia, and I held her hand. And she began to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And the therapist started asking her questions. And she said, well, I remember when I was 5 living in Hollywood, and she stopped and tears just started falling from her face.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that whatever she was about to say, it had something to do with her being messed with.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it. It was just an instant understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So I say all of that to say that I agree with you. I know there are layers of hurt, pain, rejection, abandonment that this girl has gone through, abuse, and she's never been able to be in a safe place to talk about it and really unravel all of that and get it sorted out in her mind so she can really go through the processes to fully heal.
Mm-hmm.
All she has done for years is brush it under the rug, lie, try to recreate her childhood, try to recreate what her life was and is, because she doesn't want to feel as if she's throwing anybody under the bus. And I think the main person who she needs to be honest about is her mother.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother played a huge factor in a lot of the stuff that she went through.
I agree.
But
I totally agree.
Yeah, she's trying to protect her mother, but you're continuing to hurt yourself.
And I can understand because I forget the term that they used, when you still have that relationship with people that hurt you. I forget the term for it, but
I know what you're talking about. It'll come to me, but go ahead.
I just kind of feel like that's what she has going on. And like, I think the most difficult hurt is the hurt that we incur from our parents, because that is the, like, especially your mother, like your connection with your mother started before you got here, because you were in the womb, literally connected by an umbilical cord. So it's like, it is very confusing to a child when you incur hurt from your mother, because like, this is the person that literally gave you life. And you have to separate your feelings of hurt versus love that you have for that person, because no matter what they've done, you will always love that person. Versus other people, when they hurt us, like, I can cut you off and I can walk away, and I can separate my emotions and deal with them correctly. So I think it's extremely hard for her to deal with, because the same way that her mother hurt her, she was also there, you know, and a lot of times when she needed her mother. But I think, and even in your dream, she had to be in a place where she was ready to talk about the root and ready to recognize why she was in the position and dealing with life the way that she was dealing with it. So I think, again, that's going to have to start with her being ready.
Yeah, I agree. And what you was trying to think of is Stockholm Syndrome.
That's Stockholm, and that is it. I feel like that may be her situation. We have these conversations. I really try to hold back, because I try to be careful with my words, because whatever Olivia is and what anybody is, I don't feel the need to tear them down or be disrespectful, because we've all had our moments in life that weren't televised, you know, gracefully. Right. And the difference is her life is televised. So all of the mistakes she made, it's very easy to judge her and say whatever you want to say because it's being filmed, versus us, when we made our mistakes, it was not. Right. So I tried, but at the same time, I felt like this time around, like, I just wanted to be honest, because sometimes life has to be laid out to you as a mirror, because sometimes you don't see yourself the way that people see you. And like, if every time people don't agree with your behavior, or whether they may notice certain things about you, doesn't mean that they're hating on you. Right. You know, people are just voicing what they see and what you may not see. Right. So again, that was the angle that I was coming from today. Like, she just really needs a mirror, because she needs to understand what people see. Like, people on the internet are not hating on you. Like, I'm not talking about people who may call you out of your name and, you know, do ignorant stuff like that. But most of the people, when people are talking about your lack of education or stability, the way that you're dealing with men, your children, people are coming from a place of trying to show you where you lack in hopes that you would do better. And that is where I think we're coming from.
No, that's exactly where we're coming from.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel that, you know, some people may feel confused in how I handle Olivia, because they take my sternness or me, you know, speaking truth on her as, you know, I'm dragging her. Mm-hmm. I'm not dragging Olivia. I'm stating what needs to be spoken. And a lot of times when you speak truth, truth can offend. Mm-hmm. Truth can hurt. Truth can be hard to hear. Truth can be difficult, but truth is necessary, because if you don't allow yourself to look in that mirror called truth, mm-hmm. I mean, you will continue to go down a path that will not serve you. Yeah. It could potentially destroy you. Mm-hmm. So when I speak truth, I try to speak truth in love. Mm-hmm. I try to speak truth in a way where I'm trying to get the attention of the person that I'm speaking truth on, because this is serious. Like, you cannot play around with your life, mm-hmm. especially when you have young children dependent on you. There are so many twists and turns that your kids can end up going through that could be so, you know, avoided. But the potential harm that can come as a result of you choosing to be, you know, ignorant and not wanting to, you know, just own up to where you are and the mistakes you're making, it can really hurt your children.
Yes, I agree. It already has hurt her children. Yeah. You know, like the Web3 are in a great home, but you think it don't hurt them to be away from their mom? They go to all kind of events and their mom's not there. And it's not to say that they don't love their dad or Nisha, but they want to see their mom there. Yeah. For her to just abruptly disappear, you don't think it hurt your children? They're already being hurt. The neglect that we see when it comes down to AJ, Kailani, you don't think that it hurts them? They may not be able to voice it. Now, AJ, on the other hand, now he voices it more than any kid that I've ever seen, but it hurts them.
Yeah.
I really, when I see her, I don't know if she is really in a place where she can care, because she's in a web of hurt, bitterness, deceit. And, when you grow up hurting like she did, a lot of times you can't even process it. You don't know why you're crying. You don't know why you're drinking. You don't know why you're smoking. I don't think she's able to understand herself, yet alone her children.
I mean, I feel what you're saying, but that statement was so profound.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we could probably talk about this another hour, just because there are so many different angles to this story.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate you giving your feedback as we're watching her life continue to unfold. I guess we have to continue to stay tuned to what happens, but I really encourage everyone to keep her children in prayer. Even though, like Denise said, the Web3, they're in a good place. They're being taken care of, but they still need prayer too, because they've gone through too much at their age. And we definitely need to make sure we're praying for AJ and Kalani as well.
So this was pretty much the end of this particular podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation that we had. There was definitely some pieces of conversation that we had in here that I did not want to go to waste. I pretty much was trying to keep up with all the current videos that was happening as Olivia was spinning this homeless story. And then, as y'all know, it went from her being homeless to homeless and pregnant to homeless, pregnant, and robbed. And this podcast just kind of had to sit on the shelf until I was able to release it. But this was just, a little behind the scenes to our thought process as we were seeing this take place, and just pretty much where we stand on a lot of things as it pertains to Olivia. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the conversation. You can definitely continue the conversation in the comment section below. I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to see y'all in the next video. It's OneLove, and I'm out.